Hi everyone, it's Drillis, Kiwi Scrapper from New Zealand, and I'm here today to share a project with you that's been done for a swap, and the swap is with Evelyn in America, and Evelyn and I decided to do a swap. I think it was around November last year, but we decided that we wouldn't do it until we had Christmas and New Year out of the way. So Evelyn asked me to do a wall hanging for her, plus 3 flowers and 3 stick pins, and I was fine with that, so that's what we decided to do for one another. So I just put these. I was op shopping last week, and these are some lovely things that actually, it wasn't last week, it was this week. It was 3 days ago. I had to take our spaniel, Springer Spaniel Zoe, in to have a full clip because it's just so very, very hot here, and I had to take her right over to the city, which is like 40 minutes away, and then I had to fill in 4 hours because that's how long they tell you to drop them off and then pick them up at 4 hours later. So I went to a movie, A Winter's Tale, and then I still had lots of time left because she wasn't ready, so I went op shopping, which was really too hot to do, but anyway. So these are just some of the nice doilies. You know, people say that they find doilies hard to get. People in England, I've heard them say that. I mean, you know, here, I think New Zealand must have been doily heaven, because everybody must have had doilies, because these are all vintage doilies, and you know, I picked these up all from one shop. That one there I picked up last week from another one, which is rather lovely, and it's a long curtaining panel, which is lovely. And this is really lovely here as well. Look at that, isn't that exquisite? Just beautiful, very fine, absolutely beautiful. I will not be cutting into that. That will be staying with me. And I found this as well, 60s evening purse, so I'm going to be doing something with that. Anyway, right, moving on to my actual swap. I thought I'd just stick that there. Look, see, that one's some of them are really pretty, and you know, that was 50 cents. Maybe the wrong side of it. Yeah, we get heaps and heaps of doilies in this country. Okay, so right, first of all I'll show the flowers, and I've already packaged them up. I'm doing another swap as well, and I must say, before I even start showing these things, and I'm sorry for any glare, it's only 3:15 in the afternoon. It is so hot. I've had to draw the curtains because it's just too hot in my craft room to try and continue doing anything in here, even for a couple of seconds at a time. And apart from that, there's all the afternoon shadows and the trees waving through the net curtains, and it's just awful. So I'm hoping this will. I've drawn the curtains and put the lights on, so I hope. But there will be a lot of reflection. I've already packaged those up. Now, I just need to say, I did quite a number of challenges in January. I think a number of about 5, and they've all been posted off to their various people. I made the decision that I was not going to do any further challenges for the next 2 or 3 months, because we've had massive vet bills. We've had a dog, a golden retriever, having surgery, and then after that he got very ill as well. On top of the surgery, when he'd recovered from the surgery, he got very, very sick, which was an after hours dash to the vets, an emergency dash, and he was a very sick boy for a while. And then we've had to get Zoe clipped, which is almost $100, and we've had problems with our small dog the week before. The golden retriever got very sick in between his surgery and being sick. So we've had massive amount of vet bills since mid-January, and you know, something's got to give, and we've just stripped all of our savings on vet bills. So not to mention a big car bill that came up last week. So you know, I hope people understand, subscribers and people, that you know, why I'm not entering their challenges at the moment. We just postage is very expensive from New Zealand. Even the smallest package, the cheapest postage is to Australia from New Zealand, and it's $8, and that's the very tiniest package, and that's just to Australia. So, you know, I spent quite a lot of money in postage during January, and we couldn't afford to do that again every month. And you know, and if you enter one challenge, you feel obliged to enter them all. So we made that decision. We're also doing big house renovations on a 1910 villa, so you know, the money's just pouring out the window. So anyway, this swap. Okay, so here are the flowers. Sorry for the crinkling. I love the crinkling when I listen to it on people's videos, but some people probably don't like it. I just made up cards on. It was a dog biscuit box, actually. I promise there's no smells attached to it. And I just cut out the shape and the size I wanted and covered it with paper. This is a flower. One of the flowers. I made the centre myself using following a tutorial by, I think, Fiona Jennings. I saw that tutorial like last year, probably about 7 months ago, and I didn't forget it, so I just copied that in my head. And this is some peach lacy fabric that I found in a vintage. It's vintage peach lace fabric I found in the shop. So that's one flower for Evelyn. This one was also following a tutorial. I can't remember if this tutorial came from Fiona Jennings or whether it was somebody else's, where you just, using gathered lace, you just wind it round and round and round your piece of felt. And it's pretty tricky, actually. I mean, really, it's messy. You get glue everywhere. It's pretty tricky. And that's got a little white doily top behind it and a nice blue bling centre, because I think Evelyn likes blue. I watched a couple of her videos on her channel, and I heard her or somebody else say that she liked blue, so I thought, okay. And this is another one I just made myself. Well, of course I made all of them myself, but right, so that's those. That's the 3 flowers for Evelyn. And then we go on to the stick pins. Now I've got to make a holder for this, and I've got all the cardboard cut out already for it. I mistakenly, sorry, I've got red on my fingernails because I had beetroot in a sandwich for lunch. So sorry about that, and it won't come off. So yeah, I'm doing another swap, and I got mixed up because both of them have got involved flowers and stick pins. So I thought I'd done the holder, but I haven't. So these are the 3 stick pins I did for Evelyn, and I hope she likes them. Okay, so I'll just pop those back into that thing over there. Yeah, so sorry Evelyn, I did mean to have the holder done and it's showing on the holder, but I just started filming and I suddenly realised I had the wrong set, because I'd brought out all the ones I'd done for the other swap I'm doing. So anyway, okay, so now the wall hanging. Yeah. We didn't decide on a size or colour, you know, or style, but I did ask Evelyn if she'd like a image of a Victorian child or a Victorian lady, and she came back and she said that she would really love a Victorian child. So I went through my stash of images, and this is the one I came up with. Oops. Okay, so that's the image there. I'll just pull that back. Beautiful little image. I got this image off eBay probably last year, and it's a little girl all dressed up in gossamer and absolutely gorgeous, and she's holding a bird's nest in her hand. Sorry, I've put some tulle over there. That's part of the wall hanging, so yep. But there it is there. Beautiful image. And because it was such a soft, beautiful image, that's why I put the tulle there with pearls on it. But okay, going from the top, I've put a wide organza ribbon to hold, you know, for it to be hung by, and we've got some the centre of this. There's a little flower in here, came off a vintage bridal headdress. This is an organza flower. Got beaded trim here, and over top of that we've got Chinese braid, and underneath that we've got white, it's a white trim that I got off, cotton trim that I got off eBay. Then there's a blue floral trim there to match the blue ribbon in her hair. And behind it all that's the corner of a vintage placemat, or a doily I suppose, embroidered doily. And behind that there's a trim of lace, which unfortunately got all covered up. It's quite a pretty trim. And behind that there's the background overall lace. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and the little lace there, that's 5. That's 5 trims just in that, 5 layers just in that corner. Not counting any of these ones. Over here I cut out lace motifs from a wide piece of white lace that I had. They're flowers. I cut the 2 flowers out here and here, and then over top of that I put a couple of circles, or maybe just 1 circle of white tulle, and over top of that there's a white fabric flower. And here we've got the same flower here, the gauze flower, but I tea stained it, and then 2 layers here of another flower, lace trim that had flowers in it. So I took the bigger flower and then the smaller flower and popped them on top of each other with a vintage button. Around the edges we've got just a white, a cream lace. Sorry, I'm just so hot. I don't think I'm making. I'm hot and I don't feel very well. So, but I wanted to get this done before I'm back at work tomorrow. It's my day off. Some string of, pearl trails there. Here we've just got lace going up. We've got some pearls on there. A little bit of coffee stained, or tea stained rather, trim, which I took off a big lace thing with a little pop and a blue flower there. I put a lovely white frilled lace all around the image on these sides and up here, and this side I put a crochet pointed lace, but under that there's a doily, a full doily which she's sitting on, which is a vintage doily, and that's kind of in natural sort of colour there, beigey colour. There's so many layers I really can't sort of get to them. Sorry. That's off a placemat there, been cut off. There's a resin pearlised heart. There's a organza flower there. This is a small wooden peg, the old wooden type pegs, and I wrapped a couple of laces around them, cream and a white lace, and popped it in there. There's organza vintage sort of, I don't know, 2 little tails. They're off the vintage bridal headdress. Lovely piece of bling there, big piece of bling which I bought off eBay. Absolutely beautiful, just to add a bit of glamour and glitz and sparkle. I love that in my project. So, and here I've made up another flower of a vintage doily, and the centre of this flower here, but tea stained. A little bow. They're made up of lace and a vintage flower, a vintage button. We've just got various lovely trims of lace over here, organza lace, and I've put pearls on them. That's a beautiful organza applique, wedding applique, comes from here, goes right up to here, and I think this will have come from Irene Cersei Scrapping on YouTube. I'm pretty sure that came from Irene. If it didn't come from Irene, it came from Lynn, Bead Furry 1 in England. This is a made up flower from a artificial flower. Pulled it all apart and then stuck it all together with 2 different flowers and put a little pearl in the centre. Then I put in some stamen, pearlised stamen there, and that's sitting on a white flower, cotton fabric flower from a placemat that I fussy cut out. Some beautiful trim down here, and I put some, there's all kinds of different trims under here, because there's this trim here and there's that trim. The overall thing, let me just say, the one I sort of started off with, the foundation piece, I put on both sides. I use this table napkin on both, which has got a scalloped edge, and I use that on both sides, and then with some wadding in between. And then I took a vintage doily which was in an oval shape, and that's just the back you can see there, and the front covered the whole area, and then then the bottom of it is right down here, and it's shaped along here. So then I've just followed the shape around with that trim there and with this trim underneath. And there's lace under here, white lace. There's another different kind of white lace under there, and then under that, right at the bottom, there's a nice thick vintage trim in a sort of a crochet cotton lace. I use it's sort of like a mixed media project. I put on a glue. It's so hot I can't even talk properly. Metal circular trim here, and then put on a lovely vintage pearl button in the middle of it. In here, just sort of peeping out, there's a cabochon with Paris written on it, and it's done in a clock, and it's next to a resin. There it is. I hope you can see that. It's next to a resin heart. These are off the vintage bridal head dress, not head gown, head dress. There's various little things here. So I'm just so hot and feeling so yuck that I'm now going to go. So I'm just going to end it. Well, it's gone to 16 minutes. I've done pretty well to do that, I guess. Okay, I hope you love this, Evelyn, and yeah. So thank you for watching. Love you to make a comment, any comments you want, but keep them nice and polite, huh? Okay, so yeah, we've got the flowers, and we've got the stick pins which are up there. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye everyone.